This is such a shower thought, but remember how back in history class we would read about indentured servants and we would kind of pity them because the masses were these indentured servants who worked on the kingdoms, the land of these powerful lords who like owned all these people essentially. It was like slavery, except it wasn't, they weren't working for free, but they were essentially slaves on the land because their whole life they would spend working on the lands for these lords and would eat like stale bread and potatoes and be plagued with all these terrible diseases while the rich basically ate like the fruit of the land. What's crazy is that today the wealth gap is bigger between the masses and the rich slash the lords than it was back in the indentured servitude days. And it makes you wonder, in 1,000 years, are people going to look back in our society the same way? Instead of land, we work on essentially modern day kingdoms, which are companies. And the same concepts prevalent in those kingdoms days are still existent today. For example, when one kingdom overtakes another, such as one company overtakes another, one of the rules of the book is that you have to get rid of the ruling class and start afresh. And that essentially is what you see happen when one company acquires another. They get rid of the execs at the top and they replace it with their own people. Most workers around the world, like the average American, live paycheck to paycheck, while the elite keep manipulating the system so that they can not only hoard wealth, but pass it down to their descendants, just like how kingdoms were passed down back in the days. And even though we have more choices today than to eat a ration of bread, it's an illusion of choice. Because the healthiest foods, like organic foods, are usually only accessible to those who can afford it. And our beliefs currently are that the rich earned what they have, they are harder working than everyone else, etc., etc. Back in the day, it might have been something like the rich were appointed by God, or the rich were more intelligent, etc., etc. But essentially, these beliefs are fed to us. It makes you question, 1,000 years from now, when people look back at our society, they must think the same thing as we think about these indentured servants back in the old kingdom days.